My name is Natalie Migliarini. I am from Beautiful Booze, and I just wanted to thank you all for coming to my session here at Girls Night In Online. Like I said, I'm Natalie. I am so happy to be here. I wanted to thank Girls Night In, and I am going to be making or showing y'all how to make 4 cocktails today. I tried to keep them simple. These are some popular cocktails that I have been making all through quarantine. They're, for the most part, except one cocktail, they're all 3 ingredients. So these are going to be very simple for you to execute at home. And I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on making these cocktails. So let's get started. Now, the first cocktail is one of my favorite cocktails to make, and it is in the sour family. We are going to be making the bee's knees, and this specific cocktail, the base spirit is going to be gin. And it's 3 ingredients. We're going to be doing gin, lemon juice, and let me grab my honey syrup. What I wanted to mention about the honey syrup, just a tip, is that for cocktails that call for honey, you want to make sure that you make a honey syrup for that. If you were to take your honey container and squeeze it into your shaker or try to mix it into the cocktail, it will not marry into a liquid. So you want to make sure that you make it into a syrup. Now I'm going to tell you how to easily do that. This is so simple. What you want to do is just take equal parts honey and water and just, melt that honey into some hot water and it will become a syrup just like this. So the bee's knees is very simple. It's in the sour category. 3 ingredients: gin, lemon juice, and honey syrup, and you're done. So for this, we are going to be making, we're going to be using a shaker. And I also like to tell people during quarantine, my biggest tip for making great cocktails is using fresh citrus. I think it's a very affordable way to upgrade your cocktail at home. It makes a huge difference. When there's only 3 ingredients, you want to make sure that you're using quality ingredients. So for citrus at home, I've been telling people, if you want to be more sustainable, for example, I think this cocktail is going to be garnished with a lemon peel. So what I'm going to do first, before I squeeze the juice for the cocktail, is I'm going to go ahead and take one of these peelers. I literally got this at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to go ahead and peel off this citrus, this lemon peel, to use as my garnish. That way, you're able to be more sustainable and use the entire lemon instead of juicing this one and then using the peel of another one. And I usually forget to do this step, so I end up using 2 lemons. And for the juice, the other thing that you need to do fresh citrus at home, this tool is like super great. It can press lemons and limes. It's wonderful. Other than that, you can really improvise with tools at home in terms of a shaker. You can use a jar. I used a mason jar for years, so you don't necessarily have to have a ton of bar tools. So we're gonna get started now that we have done that. And I'm gonna be lowering my camera back and forth so you all will be able to see exactly what I'm doing over here. All right. So for this particular recipe, we're going to do 2 ounces of gin, and my philosophy with the gin, just quickly, is you can use whatever gin you like, and it will taste good in this cocktail. I'm using a Moffy gin. It's got some lemon citrus botanicals, so I think it goes really well with the lemon that's already in there, and we're going to do 2 ounces. I like measuring mine so it makes a more consistent cocktail. But as you will see right here, there we go. So 2 ounces of gin into our shaker. And obviously, if you don't like gin, you can go ahead and substitute in your favorite spirit for this drink, because I think a lot of the spirits that are on the market, rum, tequila, they're all going to taste good with lemon and honey. So there we go. Then I'm just going to cut my lemon in half and squeeze that. I think we're going to do, I think I had down here an ounce of lemon juice, and I'm going to measure this just so I can be consistent into my jigger, but usually it will be like there, a half a lime is going to give us an ounce of lemon juice, and then we're going to do 3/4 honey syrup. Okay, so right into our shaker here, and then we're going to fill this with ice and shake it up. Some ice here. I use a 2-piece shaker because I'm very comfortable with this. A lot of the stuff at bars, a lot of the shakers you can buy in stores, they're a 3-piece shaker, so they already have a strainer in the top. So that's very convenient if you want to use a 3-piece shaker. So we'll shake this up. All right. So here we go. Let that drip there. So for this shaker, it does not come with a strainer. I have one of these. And then if you want to get very professional, you can use one of these tea strainers, which will strain out some of the lemon pulp. If you don't like that, that will strain that out. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. So I'm going to strain that into this beautiful coupe glass. And it's that easy. Okay, and like I said before, we already peeled off our lemon peel for the garnish. So our lemon did double duty. Oops. I'm just gonna straighten up the peel by cutting some of the uneven edges off to make the garnish look better. And I'll show you what it looks like. You literally just like trim off the edges. And then I'm just gonna twist this up so we have a twist here. And all you do is just twist like that. This one's a bit thick. And also what I like to do is just rub those citrus oils that are coming out of your hands when you're twisting it around the rim of your glass. So when you're drinking the cocktail, you're getting those citrus oil aromas. So this is our bee's knees. This is a classic gin cocktail with gin, honey, and lemon. And this is what the final product looks like. And you can just use whatever glass you want to. If you want to serve this on ice because it's hot outside, you can do that too. So it's a very forgiving and flexible recipe. Let's go ahead and taste it. So good. Now, I know there's different types of honey. I used a pretty dark honey, so I used 3/4, but if you want yours to be sweeter, more honey forward, you can definitely take that up to an ounce. Just do what you want. I have a question, 2 ounces of gin, 1 ounce lemon juice. Okay, there we go. That's the recipe. So yeah, perfectly easy cocktail, 3 ingredients, easy to make. We will get started with our next one. Our next cocktail is one of my favorite cocktails. It's a cocktail that I do in pop-ups at bars around the world. It's called Insta Vacay. It is a riff on the classic daiquiri. So you will see in the category of cocktails that use citrus, whether it be lemon or lime, they pretty much have the same formula. You have your spirit, your citrus, and your sugar. And as you can see with the bee's knees, we had the gin, the honey, and the lemon. Well, with the daiquiri, your equation is rum, lime juice, and a sweetener. So I actually took it a bit further and added one more ingredient to make it a bit tropical, which is some pineapple juice. And for the syrup, I'm doing coconut syrup. So the Insta Vacay is going to be rum, it's going to be coconut syrup, lime juice, and pineapple juice. So let's get started with that. For these first couple of cocktails, I'm just gonna have to run and wash my shaker. I only have one of these really quick, so I will be right back. All right, so with this one, like I said, if you wanna make a regular daiquiri, you can use rum, lime juice, and simple syrup is what most people use. Now I will say I have been making a honey daiquiri, so I've been doing rum, lime juice, and honey syrup. But for this one, we want to go a little bit more tropical. I wanted to show y'all if you add one more ingredient, how easy it is as well. And using that fresh citrus is always a great idea. Now I'm going to be using a white rum for this. This is one of my favorite white rums. It's a 3-star from Plantation Pineapple. I also want to say, if you don't want to use the pineapple juice, Plantation actually has a pineapple rum that is amazing, and it's called Fancy Stiggins. So that would be my first choice, and then you can make this a 3-ingredient cocktail. But since we're going to go with the white rum, because that's the pineapple rum's more of a specialty item, you can use any white rum. If you have an aged rum, I'm sure that would be great as well. So for this one, we're going to do 2 ounces of our rum into the shaker. Make sure that y'all can see this. There is a fire truck going by. Sorry about that. I am reporting live from Seattle, downtown Seattle, and it is crazy today. So after we put in our rum, our 2 ounces of rum, we're going to go ahead and put in 3/4 of lime juice. And with this cocktail, again, we are using a lime peel for the garnish. So we'll go ahead and peel that lime peel right now. Okay, and then essentially over here, if you can't see that, making sure that y'all can see, I've got a ton of ingredients here. Just cut our lime in half, and we have this again. I'm gonna measure this and give you guys an approximation of how much 3/4 lime is. Usually it's half of a lime. Yep, so you can get the 3/4 from a half of a lime. So essentially with a whole lime, you would be able to make 2 drinks. Now for the coconut syrup, you can make it at home. I'm using this one from Monin. I really love it. You can toast some coconut in the oven, some shredded coconut, some, I guess, unsweetened coconut flakes. You can toast that in the oven, and then you can do 1 cup of the coconut flakes, 1 cup water, and 1 cup sugar, and you can make your own coconut syrup. And this one just smells like paradise, even though it's raining in Seattle and I'm not in paradise. So we're going to do 3/4 coconut syrup. And also on some of these cocktails, one tip is if you put in the same amount of simple syrup as you do a citrus, that usually creates a balanced cocktail. But there's other factors, like the pineapple juice I'm using is going to be pretty sweet. It's going to add some sweetness too, and we're going to do 1 ounce of that. Okay, so those are our 4 ingredients: rum, lime, coconut syrup, and pineapple juice. And then we're going to shake it. And this is called the Insta Vacation. Really, when you're sipping this, you do feel like you're on vacation. It's a very vacation drink without a ton of sugar. Like the pineapple is sweet and the coconut is sweet, but what you'll notice is when you're using this fresh citrus, it will really balance the entire cocktail out. Go ahead and shake this. Okay, and for this one, we will be straining into a coupe glass as well. This is one of my favorite glasses. These are called Nick and Nora glasses. And you can buy these on Amazon. They're really nice for Manhattans as well as daiquiris. And then we're just going to go ahead and double strain this in. It's a really nice flavor. And then you can get creative on the garnishes. You could do like some pineapple leaves, put some toasted coconut on there. We're just going to do the lime peel, and you can see this one is a little bit jagged on the edges. So I'm just going to clean that up just a little bit. Okay. And like I showed you before, you can just take the ends and twist this. Yes, it would be so awesome if you put toasted coconut on the rim. That's a great idea. And this recipe is actually in my new book that is coming out on August 25th, which is an extension of my brand, Beautiful Booze Stylish Cocktails You Can Make at Home. This one is in the book. And look how pretty just that little citrus peel is there. We're going to go ahead and try this. I mean, it's just, there's like a good mouthfeel to this when you get the earthiness and the, I don't know, I want to say the fat from the coconut. But this is so good. This is actually, I got this from, I basically took a pina colada and a daiquiri and combined them into one cocktail without the heaviness of the pina colada. So that's where this came from. And this is one of those drinks that you will be making again and again. Ooh, that almost distracted me. It was so good. So moving on to our next drink. I always like to show a variety of drinks. Obviously, 3 of the recipes that I'm making today are from the sour category using varied spirits, gin, rum, tequila. But I also like to show, you know, people that I'm teaching stirred cocktails and booze forward cocktails. So when people are wondering, how do you know whether you should shake a cocktail or stir a cocktail? So if you've ever been into a bar, you may have seen a bartender, they may have a this is called a mixing glass and a long spoon, and they'll stir a cocktail. Stirring a cocktail is for drinks that do not contain juices. So for example, we shook the bee's knee and the daiquiri because those contain juices and they need to marry with the syrups. But these spirit forward cocktails, you're wanting to dilute them and you don't want to shake them because there's no juice. So I'm going to show you how to make one of these. Now again, for the tools, you don't need a mixing glass for sure. You just need any kind of glass and a spoon and it will work. A lot of people will use like a chopstick, so that works as well. So what we're going to do is fill our, well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you the recipe. Now this is a twist on the regular Manhattan. I'm using cognac. I really love the fragrant notes and floral notes in cognac. So I'm going to use it. It's very delicate. I love it in Manhattans. So for this cocktail, it's also 3 ingredients. We're going to do 2 ounces of our cognac. Go ahead and put it into whatever glass you're mixing in. Then we're going to use sweet vermouth. There's a lot of sweet vermouths. You can get them in the grocery store these days. I'm using one from California called Vaya. You're going to do 2 ounces of cognac, 1 ounce of sweet vermouth. And then I had 2 dashes of bitters, and bitters are just what you want to use to season your cocktails, like salt and pepper. We're going to do 2 dashes of our Angostura aromatic bitters, and that's 2 dashes. And I had 1 dash of orange. I could not find orange bitters here. I don't know what's going on. So we'll just add 1 more dash of Angostura bitters since we don't have the orange. Then we're going to fill up our mixing glass with ice. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and stir this. So you guys will see how this works. It will dilute the cocktail and mix up the cognac and vermouth and bitters. Okay. Now, after we have that, we will take our strainer and go ahead and pour. I'm using this like traditional brandy glass because I have limited glassware, but you could definitely use like, a lot of times I just use like a Micanora or a coupe glass. You can serve this in whatever you have. Now my hands are a bit, I'll have to do it here because my hands are a bit wet. But you're just going to go ahead and strain that. And you will be able to smell the full notes of that cognac. And for this, I'm going to garnish it with a traditional cherry. I'm using these black cherries from Italy. Here, I'm just going to use, this is a cocktail pick. There we go. So we'll put that right there. And then also for this, I do like in these boozier drinks to give it a little citrus note. So we're going to use a bit of a citrus peel. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you guys how to do this. If you get a citrus peel like this, and then you squeeze it over your drink, the citrus oils explode out. And that is going to, when you drink this cocktail, oh my gosh, you're just going to get the orange citrus oil aromas before the liquid juice actually hits your mouth. So, and then you can just put it in there. It doesn't have to be all pretty like we did the other one. So let's go ahead and taste it. Oh, wow. So amazing. This is going to be more boozy. This has 3 ounces of booze, 2 ounces of cognac, 1 of vermouth. So this is going to be a great happy hour or nightcap drink to wind down to. This is one of my favorites. And you could use any kind of brown liquor for this. I mean, spirit, cognac, rye, whiskey, whatever's your favorite. You can definitely mix that with the vermouth. Now, before I go over time, I'm going to show you my final cocktail, which is the Tommy's Margarita. This is my favorite version of the margarita, invented by a guy named Tommy in California. And essentially, he uses tequila, lime, and agave juice. He does not use an orange liqueur. So I love that. I think it's great. I love the agave notes in tequila, and I think using agave syrup in a margarita just really brings those notes out. So this is going to be pretty simple. I'm just going to dump this ice quickly. Okay, so you can see this. So what we're going to do here is, this is going to be a great go-to margarita recipe for you. Let me go ahead and put this over. So we're going to do 2 ounces of tequila. I'm using a Blanco tequila, which is a white tequila. You could also use Reposado, which is aged a bit more. It would be really great in a margarita as well. We're going to do 2 ounces right into our shaker. We're going to do 1 ounce of fresh lime juice. And I already have the lime left over for the daiquiri, so we'll go ahead and squeeze that in. And then we're going to do a 1/2 ounce of agave syrup. And in my book, I note that the agave, I'm using Monin, but I noted that agave syrup is, it's like honey. It ranges in sweetness, so you want to just make sure you know what brand you have. And that's our 3-ingredient margarita. So what we're going to do now is just go ahead and shake this up. Now we're filling the margarita on ice, so you don't need to shake this for a long time because it's going to be diluting as you drink it. You just want to shake it 2 or 3 times to really mix up that liquid. And then our glass is here. I'm using this really nice antique rock glass, and I'm going to go ahead and take one of the limes we use, and I'm going to rim the glass. So you just take, you can use a lime and you just go around, or you can just rim a little part of it if you don't want that much salt. And here we're just going to dip this. I've just put the salt on a plate like this. Going to go ahead and rim it. It's pretty simple. Then I have a big cube, a crystal clear ice cube that I'm going to just put right in there. And then strain our margarita. As you can see, the ice is gorgeous. And because we went ahead and rimmed the glass, I'm not going to do a fancy garnish for this because I think it looks good as is. Now let's try it. I mean, this is wonderful. And if you don't like salt on the rim, sometimes I just put a dash of salt in the shaker and shake it up. This will probably be your go-to margarita recipe because I love it. 3 ingredients: tequila, lime juice, and agave. Cheers, you guys. So that wraps up our 4 cocktails. Sorry, I'm going a little bit over time. I tried to rush through that, but I wanted to give you guys all 4 of the cocktails that I had promised. So we had our bee's knees, which was gin, lemon juice, and honey. We had our Insta Vacay, which was a version of a daiquiri with rum, lime juice, coconut simple syrup, and pineapple juice. Then our cognac Manhattan with cognac, bitters, and sweet vermouth. And last but not least, our Tommy's margarita with tequila, lime juice, and agave syrup. So thank you so much for being here. I'm going to look at the questions, but thanks for everybody that came out to Girls Night online today. How did you make the ice cube for the margarita? Okay, I cheated, and there's actually an ice company in Seattle. So I bought these ice cubes because I'm doing a lot of photography for my book. But you can get, there are a lot of ways you can make it at home, and you can get the big ice molds. It won't produce super clear ice, but it will give you a big cube. That will be nice. So you can buy those big cube molds on Amazon. Let's see, what dessert drinks would you recommend? Ooh, dessert drinks. That's a hard one. I always say drink my dessert, and I end up with a glass of champagne. I am stumped. I don't know. What do you guys classify as a dessert drink? I mean, I've made several drinks with a chocolate liqueur called Mozart. It's really, really great. You can essentially make the Manhattan and add some of that chocolate liqueur to make this cocktail a bit more dessert. I mean, there's also the traditional like grasshopper, but that's pretty heavy. I mean, I wouldn't say no. I mean, the mudslide, there's all those classics. I essentially would like taking like a Manhattan or like an old fashioned and putting like some kind of really nice brown syrup in there, or a cinnamon syrup to the old fashioned to kind of give it those dessert vibes. Yeah, I'm sorry I don't have a ton, but in my book, I have a section on nightcaps, and I do have some cocktails where I used a really, really nice banana liqueur in there. Did you go to bartending school? I did not. I self-taught myself, and I'm still learning at the moment. Yeah, okay. Mozart. Yeah, Mozart is a chocolate liqueur. I think it's from Austria. They have different versions. I made a recipe during Thanksgiving, and I can't remember exactly what I did, but I made something very desserty with the chocolate liqueur. Let's see. Book, yes. And before I go really quickly, I will show y'all, this is my book. It's available for pre-order. It comes out August 25th. It's Beautiful Booze, Stylish Cocktails You Can Make at Home. There's 123 recipes. They all have photos. It just so happens that it opens to one of my favorite cocktails, which is the Aperol Margarita. Yeah, and all the photos have, and all the recipes have photos. I took all the photos myself. So I'm super excited about the book coming out. And like I said, this cocktail, Insta Vacay, is in the book, but you will notice I use the pineapple rum that I talked about. But if you don't have the pineapple rum, I gave you guys the alternative way to make it today in the class. What made you choose cognac for the Manhattan? Yeah, so you know, the rye whiskey is the traditional in the Manhattan, which I really love. I love rye whiskey. I think it's great. Okay, so cognac, I think people are intimidated by cognac because it tends to be expensive, but I've noticed if you buy, if you look at some of the basic bottles like this Hennessy, the VS, which means very special, the VS or the VSOP is what I would use to make a cocktail with. I just love the floral notes. I love how delicate it makes, like rye is like really intense. And so if you substitute in cognac for whiskey drinks, I think it just brings this more like floral and delicate note to the actual cocktail you're drinking. And I really love that. So I feel like cognac is a bit intimidating. People are scared to use it in cocktails, but if you're using, like I said, VS, which means very special in a cocktail, this is not going to be too expensive and you're going to be able to use it in a lot of different cocktails. Now, a lot of cocktails that had gin in them originally had cognac. So if you think about a French 75, which is lemon juice, sugar, and gin topped off with champagne, that traditionally had cognac in it. And if you try that cocktail with cognac, it is so good. And I have some variations of the French 75 in my book, and I do use cognac. I posted something on my feed today that was cognac, 1 ounce of cognac, strawberry simple syrup topped off with lavender kombucha. So you think about different ways you can really incorporate cognac. Flavored vodka. What could I do to make a quick cocktail? So any of the, I mean, it depends on the flavor, but any of these cocktails I showed you today, besides probably the Manhattan, you can use vodka for that. So for example, you can do the bee's knees. You could do the flavored vodka, honey, and lemon juice. I mean, that sounds amazing. You could also make the Margarita style sour with lime juice, agave, and flavored vodka, but I think the bee's knees would be great. Or you could just make a martini. Let's see, anything else? Oh, okay, I missed that. Great. I am so excited that I got to come here today. I want to thank Girls Night In for having me, Girls Night In Online, for having me today, letting me do my demo. Sorry, I was like a speed demon. I just wanted to make sure I gave you guys as much information as possible. So I really enjoyed doing this, and thank you so much for your hospitality and signing up and logging in to share this cocktail with me today. So cheers, and I hope you guys have a great start to your weekend on Thursday.